All right, it's great to be here on the Rob Skinner podcast, Climb Recap Edition. I'm here with Joel Peed, my wife Pam Skinner, and Chris Schwartzenberger. Today was day 2 of the Climb conference. I felt like it went great. I thought overall it was fantastic. The first thing that happened this morning was Chris Schwartzenberger did a church growth workshop that filled up the morning, and it was fantastic. Thoughts?
I was so encouraged, Chris. I think that to see the convictions and the process that you have gone through to get to where you're at, and you're very real and vulnerable and open with the challenging times, the low times personally. I just think we go through so much as leaders, but we don't often have the space to be able to talk about it. And this conference is a place where we could just, it's a safe place. We can, I know it's overused a lot, but we can just be real but how God formed you through that and the convictions you came to. It was beautiful. And the other thing it reminded me of is how we can all be different. You know, like Rob and I came together the very early, knowing that the way Rob does a ministry, the way I do a ministry is very different. And that's a good thing. And I kind of was in awe of Rob trained you, you know, how you two do different ministries very different. And that's the point in a small church is to find who you are and be authentic to that and let the Spirit build. Thank you so much. And more than just what you did this morning, thank you for who you are and how you've allowed God to really shape you. It's just really an inspiration.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Chris, I was so excited to have you on the, the docket, have you on the program. And you didn't disappoint. You surpassed my expectations. And I was just so grateful. I think the thing that impressed me is you've been so persevering. It's been a challenge in Spokane. Let's just be honest, like many churches. That's what really made it powerful. There's a long period where it's just struggling, just trying to get it to grow, trying to figure out things. And you talked a lot about that. You were so real. You just shared, here's the highs, the lows, the confusion. And you're so vulnerable and so real. And people were laughing because they could see themselves in your experience. They go, I've been there. I know that. And some of the things you said today were just, I think one thing that impacted me is you said you got into theology and you're doing a PhD or one of your many degrees. And it's like, because you didn't want to be able to do church anymore. You want to kind of move into the theology and be like, hey, what am I doing? And I think people really responded so well. Coming in here, what were you trying to accomplish? What were you thinking? Okay, this is what I want to say.
Yeah. I appreciate the encouragement because I think I hit what I wanted, and that was to present how God is working and not how we figure it out. Because I still don't feel like I figured it out. I still look at it and go, I can't claim anything that's happened over the past 3 years. I've just tried to position the church to see their God and work. And so that was one of the things that was really challenging is my pride, my competitive nature is like, go in there and boast. Like, look how awesome I've arrived. Right? Like, take that. And that's just, but it's not. It was really about that. I wanted to give people encouragement that when you go through the struggles and the suffering and you see God and you find your voice and your relationship with God, that's when God works the best. And it's not when we're performative or when we try to be something we're not. When we're just present with God, God does great things. And just to share those stories. And there's even a few people who were on staff at some point in time in Spokane who are here. And they were so inspired because they were there. And they said, we were in the decline part of there. I know that. I said, that wasn't exactly what I was saying, but they saw all these people and they're like, it's amazing. And so faith building for them to say, we saw it there and now we see it where it's at. And it's really inspiring.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think one of the things that was very impactful that I feel like is very important for our fellowship is you said there's no secret sauce.
Yeah.
And we are such a well, what works? And then there's a right kind of humility about, hey, how God is moving. I want to learn from that. But once we rely on the program or the method, or I think God's just like, that's not the point. Like I'm the point. And so I loved how you started with that. There's no secret sauce. And that makes room for there's a variety of sauces. And I think in our fellowship, we have to learn how to be able to talk with one another and be different and respect each other. And just because it's my way or because maybe I've seen it work here does not mean that it's your way or should be your way or whatever. Not just that kind of mutual respect. There's more than one way to do this. It's so important.
And I think the core Orthodox principles that we're trying to proclaim are universal. We can't change those. Go make disciples, baptize them, teach them to obey. Like that's principle. The how and the where and the space is so different. Like our time in Ashland together was so different than Phoenix when I was there in campus ministry, and so different than Spokane. And I think I appreciate what you said. Like I'm so grateful for the time I had learning from Rob and then kind of, figuring things out through different people in Phoenix and the Shashas and the staff there, and then getting on my own and having to find mentors and finding ancient mentors and texts and going, oh, I need to be myself. The more authentic I am in my faith, the more authentic the church can be. Yeah. And the church has seen that. Yeah. And I didn't get to share it because we ran out of time, but just that every role is spiritual. And so I was going to share about my board president, and that his primary concern he's expressed for 5 years to me is my spiritual well-being and my freedom to lead the church. That's his primary concern. So we go on walks together, we go golfing, we pray between shots. He just is so concerned about, and I go, man, every role is spiritual, no matter what we're doing. And that builds that community. And I feel free to be me. And I feel very complex in who I am. But I think when a minister feels that freedom, like this room is filled with books. I could literally be in this room all day and be totally okay. But when you're in that spot where you feel loved by God and feel known by people in God, I think I appreciate the comments on vulnerability, because I sometimes worry I'm too vulnerable. Because I share with my church the same way I did today. I'm vulnerable from the pulpit. And sometimes I worry, did I say too much? Was I too honest there? Yeah. But I think that honesty breeds people to go, it's okay to suffer. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to doubt. But God's still God.
And the authenticity. And our kids see that. Then our faith is real. And then they, So, and I golf and I pray between shots too, but it's not rich. It's more like prayers
my ball
for forgiveness. Or what are you?
He's a spiritual guy. I mean, it's amazing that the church there is you shared down as low as 90. Now it's over 150 disciples. And a lot of that growth has happened in the last few years. And it was fantastic just how you shared that and really brought God glory because of,
that's right.
In spite of your weakness, and God has really glorified himself. And you're an amazing person, Chris. I mean, you're so good with people. I mean, I just loved having a friendship with you. I liked the one comment you said. You said that there's seasons, just like there's seasons in life. There's seasons in the church, and you can't work your way out of winter. You can't. You can't shovel your
can't
shovel your way out.
You can't hurry it,
and you just got to go through it.
And I loved to hear Sabbath and solitude come from someone besides me. Because I was just like, oh, praise God. Someone else will talk about this.
Again, there's two things. One with that, like my wife and I we take like a personal day on Fridays, like a half day from morning to early afternoon to get stuff done. We treat it like a Saturday. We go to the Home Depot, I mow the lawn, I do whatever. And then Sunday night to Monday night, we Sabbath. And they're different.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because we're working less, but working better. And I look forward to Friday mornings where I can get some stuff done, get that off my brain. And then I'm ready, locked and loaded for our campus Devo Friday night, appointments on Saturday, preaching everything on Sunday. I'm looking forward to turning it all off on Sunday night. And then my favorite thing is Sunday night as I'm winding down to think about my cup of coffee and my quiet time on Monday morning. Get the kids off to school and just spend time with God, uninhibited. But I think the other thing that stood out that I didn't get to share today is just also like empowering people. Like we have the growth isn't one ministry, but we've just empowered people to do stuff. And so we have a a small group of young adults. Most of them grew up in the church, and we made their Bible talk camp teen centric. So they disciple each other and have fellowship with each other and help each other grow and mature in their marriages. But their mission field is just our teens. And they love it. They feel so free that they just get to pour themselves into it. And they love it. The teens love it. Like, it's this awesome community that was built. And it was just like, hey, if that's what you love, go do it. Yeah. And then we hired a campus intern, Ty Vienna, and he is like fireball in motion. I just have to keep him like in the lane, but he is so charismatic and awesome. And he reminds me that we got to hire people, not positions. We got the right person at the right time. Right. I mean, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And so I just let him go. And, we got to kind of steer it a little bit, because he's got all these. We went from 5 college students to average of 35 every Sunday.
That's amazing.
They nickname me. They call me HPC, Head Pastor Chris. And they scream it out at me every Sunday. They've changed the dynamic. And so it's just like, I'm shepherding instead of pushing.
Yeah.
The church just runs because they feel free. And that was an awesome experience.
We're starting to talk a lot more about more of a gift-based versus role-based and that sort of thing. So I wonder if that's some of that too.
And I think title-based too. Like, I've been appointed an evangelist, and I feel like I'm an evangelist by my character. And I've been appointed a teacher, and I feel like I'm a teacher by my character. But I don't feel like I'm sewn into the title. I just get to serve God in whatever gift is needed at the time.
Yeah.
And just helping people to do that. We have people who are shepherds, who they could be elders, but they don't care about that. They care about just shepherding God's people, and they want to get in the messy marriages. Amen.
God bless you.
Right.
So good. I'll cheer you on.
Yes,
here.
that's wonderful.
We had a great afternoon program. You want to talk a little bit about who spoke?
Yeah, I just think in general, our belief is that healthy churches start with healthy leaders. And it's not only healthy leaders, they have to build healthy. But if you have unhealthy and it's getting unhealthier, it's really hard to build a healthy, spiritual, sustainable church. So we devote a session to minister health. And this time it was designed to be not just minister, but how to build that health into the body. So we had Ben and Melina Hutchins, who are millennials and have just done a great job at communicating very well how to get along with older ministers and younger ministers, the Gen Zs and the Gen X and boomers. And they just have a very mature, beautiful, they're both very educated. Yeah, so they were great. And then Paul Smith came from Dublin, Ireland. And talked a lot about spirituality and spiritual disciplines and practices, both individual and corporate. And very vulnerable himself, and how easy it is to go to other things besides God for comfort.
Yeah.
And that was powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Dr. Sean St. Jean and his wife, Erin, talked about. So we've had 2 minister surveys and shared some of the results, over 1,000 ministry responses in these surveys. And he's a professor, and he does this for his academia. And so it's just very well done, and some really interesting results. And then how to proactively, preventative. You don't change the oil in your car when it burned up.
Right.
You change it every 3,000 miles and that sort of thing. So how to do that in the ministry in order to really not just survive, but thrive and really be happy in the ministry. And I love their talk about the kids and how your kids feel it. They know it. That's a see it. That's so true.
So true.
So many ministry kids are turned off to God and the church. And I mean, it's, preacher's kids is famous, right? And I was a preacher's kid, and I know what that felt like. And so, yeah. So, yeah.
I thought it was a great afternoon, and I thought talking to people afterwards, I had at least 2 comments from ministers saying that really helped me. That really spoke to me, and I thought that was great. Any thoughts from you on the afternoon program?
I mean, I was fired up to take the burnout survey and get low for the first 10 years. Like, fired up. I'm like,
Great stuff.
But no, I think it's one of the things you keep mentioning vulnerability. I think this conference has such a great mix of inspiration I know we'll talk about that, and practicality, but then just realness. Like, usually it takes ministers a day or so to kind of slowly like tiptoe in.
Yeah.
But I feel like people come in here just wide open. I think it's so important to go, we're not alone, because we can feel so isolated. And I thought every class this afternoon was so helpful to speak to that feeling, that similar feeling, and what it's like to experience the challenges of intergenerational conversations, the temptation to go to worldly things, to be tempted to cope your own way, or just that burnout is real and it's got different stages and complexities. And so I love that about it, because I feel like when you can get into the realness quicker, you actually can have change at a conference.
Absolutely.
But if you just come in and it's just rah-rah and it's a spectacle and everybody's performing, I don't feel like any speaker so far has performed. They've been genuine, and it's more like a conversation than being talked to.
Yeah.
I agree.
And we wrapped it up tonight with Chip Mitchell. And I thought he did a fantastic job. He's a great speaker. He just wrote a new book. And what I thought was interesting is he wrote this book in response to him doing a daily TikTok sermon, which I didn't even know he was doing for 2 years straight.
7 a.m. every morning. Didn't he say for 45 minutes?
Was it 7 days a week? Or was it 7 days
on Christmas?
For a year, he did it.
For 2 years, he said it, right?
Right. I think,
It's just 5 days a week, I think.
I think
Okay,
he did
anyway,
it straight
it
here.
was a lot, but I'm just like,
Wasn't it? Didn't he say 45 minutes?
yeah.
Okay, from 7 a.m. every morning, he was debating, preaching the gospel for 45 minutes. I didn't know. I thought it was a 10-minute kind of thing.
Yeah.
45 minutes every day?
Yeah.
What if he counts it as cardio, like the work?
Kidding.
He said there's a lot of haters on TikTok.
That's what he said.
Yeah, so that's what made him write a book about why the Bible is trustworthy because of all these negative comments about there's so many mistakes in the Bible and things like that. What were your thoughts about his lesson?
Oh my gosh. I really needed to hear that. It was really powerful. I mean, the first point was all about that we're chosen, right? Just to remember that. I think that coming into a small church conference, it's such a great reminder. And then I think the whole lesson was, regardless of where you're at, how you're feeling, the challenges in your own life, that God is with us. He's bigger than all those challenges. And I felt so refreshed. I just felt like he really met my needs personally, but I felt like the whole group was just amening and cheering, and he's delightful to listen to.
Very dynamic.
Dynamic. I didn't want him to stop. I'm like, can you have a 5th and 6th point, please? So no, it was really just
got a gift.
Yeah, he has a gift. It was a perfect lesson.
I love even how he said, he talked about certain things like, that's just not for me, and this is what is for me.
I was wondering what you thought. He said, sabbatical, it's not for me. I like to take 12-hour car drives. It's like, oh my God.
And it wasn't just sabbatical. It was like, you go out to the woods, and I'm just nervous, and I'm scared where I go to North Philly.
He wants to go to North Philly and sit in the Dunkin' Donuts in North Philly, and that calms him down.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, wow.
I'll tell you what I loved it. You know why? Is because there's no secret sauce.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And you have to, it's another example of you find what works for you.
Right.
And